Hello everyone, Mike Rizzo back with you here today. We're going into chapter 3 of Vertical Marriage in today's session. Chapter 3 is called Evaluating the Relationship. And this kind of ties in with our free ebook that we have available on our website. So when you go to our website, you would just click on the free ebook, Marry the Right Person, Finding Your Perfect Match. And feel free to pass that along to somebody, pass it along to a friend. There's no need to sign up or subscribe to anything. It's just a free ebook that I think will be a blessing to you and perhaps to many of your friends as well. So in that ebook, we cover the 15 caution flags. And the need for caution doesn't necessarily mean that you have to, stop a relationship with somebody. Maybe if you're seriously dating or pondering engagement, caution flag doesn't mean that it's over, right? It just means that there may be a need to slow down the relationship, and it might indicate areas to work on between you. Because what are caution flags before a marriage become marital issues after a marriage. And so we've taken these same 15 issues I'm going to briefly touch upon today and kind of shared them with married couples and asked them how any of these are showing up as marital issues. So it's kind of a similar analysis, really, whether you're married or not married. So let's jump right in. It's important to evaluate a relationship. It's important to establish a foundation, because before you're married, before you're in covenant, you're establishing a foundation for a potential covenant relationship, right? So if you're not married yet, you're not in covenant, you're establishing a foundation, and you're making the decision, do I want to spend the next several decades with this person, growing together, doing life together? Because after you're married, then it becomes a matter of repairing the foundation and working on things that maybe were never really there or established very well. And that becomes kind of, fodder for growth over the years, which is normal. The key is to not get overloaded on the front end with having too many issues to work on and not enough foundation to balance things out. Okay, so here we go. Number 1 is an uneasy gut feeling that something is wrong in our relationship. At the end of the day, you go with your gut, right? So after dating, seriously getting to know somebody, but your gut feeling is like there's just something wrong, that is a caution flag. Again, after you're married, 3 months in, if you get that gut feeling, it's now a marital issue, no longer a caution flag. You're in covenant with that person, covenant for life. So now it becomes, God, give me grace to deal with whatever it is that I've discovered about myself or about him or her or about our marriage. And then you partner together to grow through it. Again, we're not trying to scare couples with these caution flags, but we believe that given the statistics on divorce today, whether it's 50%, 40%, even if it's 30%, which I've seen some people say, it's only 30% in the church. Well, gosh, that's 3 out of 10 couples don't make it. That's still way too many, way too many. So number 1 is gut feeling. Number 2, caution flag is frequent arguments. So if you're fighting most of the time in your relationship, why again do you want to get married? Okay? So frequent arguments versus, mainly peace, a little bit of normal conflict along the way. Frequent arguments, definite caution flag. Number 3, jealousy or irrational anger when one of you interacts with someone of the opposite sex. I've encountered this along the way, in my marriage, where, when you're married, it's like that's your girl, that's your guy. And so it's different than when you were dating. It's different than when you were just friends. So the key here as far as a caution flag, though, is that if you see your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend, for example, talking with somebody in the hallway of your school or your job or some social interaction, or they're having coffee together or something like that, navigating this area is kind of tricky. But what you want to look for is there's extreme jealousy or extreme irrational anger bubbling up inside of me. I want to go over and strangle that person. I don't trust them. That would be a caution flag for your own heart, right? For your own heart. Number 4 is apprehension discussing certain subjects because we are afraid of the reaction. So this is basically, you're always putting things on the back burner, back burner, back burner. Oh, I don't want to bring that up. It might upset him or her. You know, if there's apprehension discussing certain topics because you're afraid of how they're going to react, this is a definite caution flag. And this will be a marital issue, because if it keeps getting put off in the marriage and never resolved, then it becomes a backlog of issues, very, very detrimental to a marriage. Number 5 is extreme emotional expressions. Now this would be unpredictable mood swings. Like from one date to the next or one event to the next, your guy or your girl is swinging way over in their moods, and you're like, wow, who are you today? I don't get this. Now, to some degree, this was happening in my life to some degree. I remember back 39 years ago when we were engaged. I remember it sort of clearly. I remember it was one Sunday morning where my wife had a friend visiting our church, and I was like having anxiety over being engaged and getting married, and I like left the church that morning and went out in the parking lot. I had to go for a walk. I have to get away and clear my head. And my girlfriend, said, my wife's girlfriend said to her, "Are you sure about this guy? He seems a little unstable." So now that was just kind of a one-off. I was pretty stable, but on that particular day, I was just dealing with the enormity of considering what I was doing and getting married. And so that was okay. But what you want to look for here in terms of caution flag is extreme, ongoing, emotional mood swings. Number 6 is controlling behavior, kind of feeling like you're being manipulated. Maybe a passive aggressive type of thing, or somebody just suggesting or kind of pushing a little bit that you do things a certain way. Control is not good in a marriage. If it's happening in the engagement period or dating process, caution flag, take note. Number 7 is feeling trapped. Just not wanting to hurt each other by even suggesting that maybe marriage may not be for us. So you're looking at rings, or maybe you're already engaged. And there is such a thing, by the way, of called mercy marriages, where somebody's engaged and one person that's just so merciful and full of empathy doesn't want to hurt the other person's feeling by breaking the engagement. They call it a mercy marriage. Not healthy. So if you're feeling trapped in any way and you don't want to hurt the other person's feelings, caution flag. Better to hurt their feelings now than to go ahead and get married and then encounter a whole other quagmire of problems, right? Number 8 is lack of respect. Feeling like you're constantly being criticized or treated with sarcasm. That will not do well in the day in, day out of married life. So if you're seeing it now in engagement, it's a caution flag. Number 9, lack of personal responsibility. Fiance is struggling to hold down a job and pay bills. This could be the guy, this could be the girl. You want to watch out for that, because again, once you're married, that becomes a marital issue, and finances are one of the major stressors in a marriage. So is the person personally responsible? Have they been paying their bills? Have they been taking care of debt? Do they take care of their vehicle, their house, their possessions? Number 10, something we all have some of this, pride. But this would be a caution flag if the person has difficulty ever admitting being wrong. And thus, if a person never really admits they're wrong, conflict doesn't really ever get resolved. Number 11, dependent on parents for emotional and financial security. Could be a caution flag. We mentioned in an earlier session about the importance of leaving and cleaving, importance of leaving your parents in a healthy way. So if there's a dependence there that's not healthy, that's something you want to talk about before you get married. Make sure it doesn't become a marital issue. Number 12, history of failed dating relationships. So here we're looking for a pattern. So if you or your fiance have been in like just several relationships that lasted a few months, break up, lasted a few months, break up, etc., 3, 4, 5 relationships, and there's a pattern established, good to ask the question, like, what exactly happened in all those relationships? Because a history of failed dating relationships is not a good omen for a future marriage. So it could be a caution flag. Number 13 is addictions. Question to ask: do either of you struggle with alcohol, drugs, pornography? Now, when it comes to pornography, probably 80 to 90% of the problem is with men, but there are also a small percentage of the time women that struggle with porn as well. And if you struggled in the past with one of these addictions, how long have you been free? Rule of thumb, depending on who you talk to as far as pornography goes, some say 3 months, some say 6 months, some say 1 year of sobriety, so that there's a real a new habit, new victory established. You don't have to worry about what your future spouse is doing in that area. Number 14 is selfishness. Aren't we all guilty here? Yes. But this would be kind of like borderline narcissism, where it's me, myself, and I. Those are my 3 favorite people, right? Being overly self-centered, always wanting your own way. If this is present in the relationship, or even hints of it, I'm thinking of a couple right now that I did their ceremony, and one of them was, possibly both, but one for sure was an extreme narcissist, and they ended up being divorced after a year and a half. Didn't work out because he was controlling the whole marriage. And finally, number 15, bad habits. Yes, we all have some. And sometimes, you discover little pet peeves that drive you crazy about somebody in the dating, in the engagement period. But then after you're married, you discover a whole trove more of like, wow, I can't believe you do this that way. Or you make so much noise when you chew your food, and you do this, you do that. Why do you chew your gum like that? It could be silly things, but again, if there's habits, hygiene habits, in our free ebook, Marry the Right Person, I kind of expound upon this more and give lots more examples of different types of habits that there are. So that's the last of the caution flags. So just wrapping up this session, I just pray that if you're not married and you're viewing this, that you will be kind of discerning and have insight here in this area. And if you're watching this and you're already married and it's already a marital issue, that God would give you the grace to confront and talk to your spouse about this to bring resolution. God bless.